GR IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to GR IAS Academy. Today we are on day 9 of Mission Surya Programme. It is a 100-day prelims marathon program in which we will be covering 100 important themes for current affairs for prelims 2026. Let's see the first topic for today. So today's first topic is Artemis program. Artemis is the NASA's lunar mission which aims to establish sustainable presence on the moon. It is their lunar mission after Apollo in 1972. So in this mission, they plan to send first woman and also a first non-European man onto the moon. It is a joint collaboration between NASA and European Space Agency, Japanese Space Agency JAXA and Canadian Space Agency. So it is a joint collaboration. Let's see a few more details about Artemis program. It is planned in different phases, starting from uncrewed mission to the crewed mission. So in the phase 1, that is Artemis 1, which was an uncrewed mission. In that, launching vehicle SLS, that is Space Launching System, is used. Orion was the spacecraft. So it was basically to test the integrated systems. It was conducted successfully in 2022 itself. And there is second phase, that is Artemis 2. It is a crewed mission. In this, crew were planned to send to the moon and to orbit around the moon. That is not to land on the moon. It was planned to be scheduled in early 2026, but it is postponed due to technical reasons. And there is phase 3, that is Artemis 3. It is a crew module. In this, crew will be landing on the moon's surface. But it is planned to be implemented in late 2020s, but it would depend on the success of Artemis 2 and also the development of Human Landing System HLS and the Lunar Gateway readiness. So that's all about Artemis. Let's see the next topic for today. So that is, second topic is flue gas desulfurization. It is a pollution control technology in which we are trying to remove the sulfur dioxide from the flue gas, that is flue gas desulfurization technique, that is removing sulfur. Flue gas is the outlet gas of a chemical industry. This technique is basically used in coal-based thermal power plants. So why is this done? Coal generally contains sulfur, and after the burning of coal, that sulfur gets converted to sulfur oxide, sulfur dioxide, and it is released into the atmosphere through flue gas. But it is harmful to humans. That means it causes respiratory diseases. It is also harmful to environment because it leads to acid rain. In order to mitigate the SO2 release into the atmosphere, flue gas desulfurization technique was planned for coal-based power plants. Let's see the basic functioning. So the flue gas will be sent into a spray tower. This is the flue gas that contains SO2 and other pollutants. Here we spray the limestone, that is calcium carbonate slurry, through the spray tower, and this flue gas reacts with the calcium carbonate and converts it into gypsum. Gypsum is basically the calcium sulfate that is formed after the reaction of these two. It is a solid sulfate form which can be easily stored. And finally, clean gas would be released into the atmosphere. So this way we reduce the sulfur from the flue gas. So in this technique, the primary pollutant reduced would be the sulfur dioxide, and along with it some other pollutants like particulate matter, HCl, HF and other traces of heavy metals are also reduced. So that's all. Let's see the next topic. It's a short topic. Species based questions are favorite of UPSC. Every year at least 1 or 2 questions will be asked. So what is dunlin? Dunlins are nothing but migratory birds. It is a small migratory shorebird. It was spotted during the Kerala bird race festival. So just remember, dunlin is a bird. Next topic is enhanced rock weathering. So it is a climate engineering technique helpful for combating the global warming or climate change. So let's see this technique. It is a carbon dioxide removal technique. So these carbon dioxide removal techniques or the carbon sequestration has become an important topic for prelims in recent years. Every year at least 1 or 2 questions are asked from this carbon dioxide removal methods. Let's see one such PYQ in a while, but before that let's see this topic. So enhanced rock weathering. What is weathering? Weathering is nothing but converting the rock into fragments or the changing the composition of the rocks. Weathering happens by 3 processes, or there are 3 types of weathering, that is physical, biological and chemical weathering. So in physical and biological weathering, rock is converted into fragments through a physical stress or biological interventions. Whereas in the chemical weathering, the rock is not literally fragmented, but the chemical composition of rock changes. Chemical composition changes in the chemical weathering. So here we are actually using this process to remove the carbon dioxide from atmosphere. Let's see how is it done. So when the rock, for suppose say basalt rock, it is a calcium silicate or the magnesium silicate. It is a silicate rock. When it reacts with rainwater having carbon dioxide, that is some kind of acidic rain per se, like rainwater having carbon dioxide, it forms calcium carbonate or the magnesium carbonate or the bicarbonates. And this silica becomes SiO2. So in this reaction, what actually is happening is the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere, which is a strong greenhouse gas, is getting converted to stable forms, that is carbonate and bicarbonates. These are not harmful for the atmosphere, these do not cause any climate change. So this is the actual reaction happening in the chemical weathering, and we are trying to emulate this on the soil or water. So what we actually do is, we take the rock, we crush it and we just sprinkle it on the agricultural fields or in the oceans. When we sprinkle that, the surface area of the rock increases by crushing, and then it reacts at a faster rate with the carbon dioxide present in the soil or ocean water and forms carbonates and bicarbonates. That way we can remove the carbon dioxide from atmosphere. So just volcanic rock crushed and scattered on the field, and carbon dioxide from the rainwater is absorbed by the volcanic crushed rock. Here volcanic rock is nothing but rock having silicate. Then the water reacts with the silicate in the volcanic rock and forms carbonate. And the same thing also happens in the oceans. So let's see this in little more detail. Enhanced rock weathering is a carbon dioxide removal technique. That means it removes CO2 from atmosphere. It involves spreading finely crushed silicate rocks, example basalt, over agricultural soils or land surfaces. This accelerates the natural chemical weathering process. We are just emulating the chemical weathering process on the soil. That means we are enhancing the weathering by crushing the rock. So that is why it is enhanced rock weathering. Let's see a few more details on this topic. So it permanently removes CO2, because when the carbon dioxide gets converted to carbonates or bicarbonates, it gets locked in for millions of years. It is not released very easily. So it is near permanent removal of carbon dioxide. And this is a very important thing. Rocks which we generally use, which we generally crush in the process are basalt, olivine and wollastonite. These are the silicate rocks. So remember, these are the silicate rocks, not carbonate rocks. Carbon dioxide dissolving in the rainwater forms carbonic acid. That carbonic acid reacts with the silicate and forms SiO2 and carbonate or bicarbonate, as we have seen the reaction in the previous slide. So here we have seen that carbon stores for long term, storage time is up to thousands to millions of years. So it is an effective method for carbon removal. Why is it important? Because it is an effective method for climate change mitigation. Here emissions are being removed, so it is considered as a negative emission technology. It helps us to achieve our net zero targets, and it is an important method of carbon sequestration. Why is it effective? If we quickly compare it with afforestation, if we compare the ERW with afforestation, here geological processes are happening, like rock is getting changed. Where it is a biological process, we are just planting trees. Here risk of reversal is very low because the carbon gets locked in for millions of years. Here risk is high because of fires or deforestation, the carbon in the plants may get released. It can be done on the existing farms or existing land, but for afforestation, to plant trees we need new land. It is a slow but permanent process because the carbonates are getting locked in for millions of years. It is a faster but relatively less stable. So this is an important topic for this year. This is all about enhanced rock weathering. Hope you have understood. So this is the PYQ I was talking about. It is from 2023. If you see the options, which of the following methods are considered for carbon capture and sequestration? Spreading finely ground basalt rock on the farmlands extensively. So this is nothing but the enhanced rock weathering method. I mean, we are doing this exactly in the enhanced rock weathering method. So there are also other options like increasing alkalinity of oceans. By that, acid gets neutralized. So the carbonic acids get neutralized in the water, and by capturing carbon dioxide released by industries and sending them to the abandoned mines. So these are the various processes. Basically this first. So all of the three are storing carbon dioxide. So all three is the right answer for this. But here this is nothing but the EWR technique. So that's it. There are also other PYQs on carbon removal methods. Please focus on that theme. So let's move on to the next topic. That is International Solar Alliance. So it is an intergovernmental organization that aims to promote solar energy deployment globally. Like we are increasing the access to solar energy through this. So it is mainly to focus on the countries located between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, because these are the major sunlight receiving countries. If we see few facts regarding this International Solar Alliance, it is proposed by India but launched or co-founded by India and France. When was it introduced? It was introduced during COP21, that is in 2015 at Paris. And headquarters is at Gurugram in India, and initially the membership was restricted only to the sun range countries, but now membership is open to all countries, and this ISA has given the observer status in the UNGA. So let's see the next topic. This is the last topic for today, that is catastrophic bonds. What is a catastrophe? It is a mass destructive event, per se a disaster. So generally when some kinds of disaster occur, government finds it difficult to fund the disaster relief programs. It is a methodology by which government is kind of having some funds. So what is catastrophic bond? It is also called as CAT bond. It is a financial instrument. Or a debt instrument. Basically it's a bond. So government or the insurance companies issue some bonds called as CAT bonds or catastrophe bonds. Investors purchase these bonds, like investors purchase them, and if in case there is no disaster that occurs in the tenure of the bond, in the bond tenure period, no disaster, if there is no disaster, investors get the full money, that is the principal and interest are returned to the investors. But in case if there is disaster within the bond tenure period, before the bond get matured, government uses these funds for disaster relief purposes. The money goes to investors in case of no disaster. If in case of disaster, government use it for relief purposes, so that the relief operations occur immediately and the pressure on government budget decreases. But why would investors spend on these bonds if they lose amount in case of disasters? They do not invest blindly. They invest based on the scientific disaster prediction models. For example, if government releases an earthquake bond, investors would invest on it only if they feel that, based on the scientific prediction, if they feel that disaster for say earthquake is not going to happen in the bond's 10-year period. And also an important thing, this bond promises very high returns. The coupon rate is very high, that is why investors would invest on these bonds. So recently World Bank has helped Mexico to issue these bonds to fund their earthquake relief operations. That's all. So here what's happening here? The risk is transferring from government to the investors. So here they transfer the disaster risk from insurers or the governments to the capital market investors. So that's it. I hope it is clear. So that's all for today. For detailed notes on these topics, please visit our WhatsApp and Telegram channels. Links are provided in the description. And also, to get regular updates on Mission Surya program, please visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel GR IAS Academy. Thank you.